Hi everyone, and let's talk about some of the latest and incoming features of the React.js. So React 19 will become reality in some time soon, and here we are going to explore what really is going to be changed with the React version. So React 19 will have its own compiler, and what does that mean when we talk about React is going to have all those features? So React compiler is like under construction. This will become available, but we can just do a still play around. And what React compiler is doing, I mean, what was the need of having React compiler in the React 19? That all those things we are trying to explore here. So React compiler is innovative features introduced in React 19. It is designed to enhance the optimization. You might remember that in React 18 you were doing lots of additional things, like to optimize couple of things. You were using use memo. Let's say if I want to do some complex calculation, here you are doing simply like const calculation equal to, you were using use memo and doing some calculations around it, and you are using use callback, use memo, and also doing some optimization, rendering optimization using use callback, right? So all those things we were doing when we were using React 18, right? But now how React compiler works, it scans the areas of the optimization where we are doing a memoization, or we are optimizing the whole rendering process. So we won't be needing using use memo, use callback in React 19 with compiler, because React compiler will be doing all those things for us. And this is the compilation, how React compiles our code. You can see this is a simple function count, set count, and on click you are updating the count. So here how the React compiler works. So in the React compiler, if you look into the code, it is adding the variable dollar before that. So count, you can see it is adding a cache with the dollar. The compiler adds the dollar variable as a caching mechanism, which you can see here, $1, $0, right? Checking for the state change. The $0 variable store the previous count, right? And the compiler add an if condition to check if the count variable has changed. So if you can see, if $0 is not equal to the count, then do the re-rendering process. Memoizing is the render result. If the count value has changed, the variable t0 will set to the new render result, which is stored in the $1. So when you see this kind of a code, this is nothing but it's compiled into JavaScript. And I remember when I was doing a Svelte.js, this is also the output looks like when you compile the Svelte.js code into vanilla JavaScript. So React is improving a lot in the same direction, where it is optimizing the watching on the variables, when to render, when not to re-render. All those things are there. So here we are checking the compiled code into simple if else. And here using dollar variable, we are checking the previous count, we are rendering and resetting the values. Now, if you change the count value, then it will go into the else block and it will re-render the whole process. And before we move to React 19, how the React 18 works, right? So the main purpose of the React compiler is to automatically memorize code. Before React 19, we had access the memoization APIs through use memo, use callback, react.memo. If you have remember, we were using use memo, use callback, react.memo, all those things for the memoization and for the rendering optimization. These use memo, use callback were helping us to do not recalculate the expensive calculations and to avoid unnecessary re-rendering of the component. So they were actually optimizing lots of things. Now if you see that in React 19, all those things will go away and you will start React will start taking care of the memoization and optimization. That's really great news, right? So let's try to compare here what is in React 18 and what will be in React 19. Currently, whenever we want to do some expensive calculation, we put a use memo on top of that to memorize the output based on the same input. Right, expensive calculation. Here we are calculating the value, and on click we are just increasing the previous count and setting the count with a new value. And whenever we are updating the count, the expensive calculation is going to return the new outcome of that. So this is what we are doing with the React 18 using the use memo and use callback everywhere. Now how the things will change. So with React 19, what you will be doing? You will not be using use memo at all. I can just simply write a function which will be just doing a set count, previous count plus 1, and this expensive calculation, I will comment because this is not the way we will be doing it. We can simply do handle click and all the memoization and optimization of the rendering will be happening here. You don't need to do memoization using use memo. You don't need to do render optimization using use callback. Everything will be plain and simple. And it is going to work as same as we were doing in React 18. The only thing is you are not additionally optimizing using use memo and use callback. React 19 is taking care of all that.